Warming temperature is going to create a lot of melt-off, but you're saying that the window for that isn't going to be too big.
Yeah, the window is fairly narrow, and the models kind of backed off a little bit between yesterday and today as to how much rain we're actually expecting. So if that trend continues, we should actually be doing pretty good. But still, again, as I showed just a little bit earlier, some of those flood watches that will be in effect Saturday that continue in through early Sunday afternoon for pretty much all of West New York, with the exception of Niagara and Orleans counties. We'll keep a close eye out there as well. So, of course, earlier this week, we had some of those concerns out along the Niagara River, of course, the upper river. But want to take a look down here into the gorge because you're starting to see at least a little bit more water and a little bit less ice. That ice bridge starting to break up there, and we'll likely see some pretty big changes through the weekend. Late next week, we start to cool right back down again. But it's just such an incredible shot to see. And kind of follow along the temperatures and how that changes. Be an interesting time lapse actually throughout the weekend. Right now, we're above freezing, and we're likely to remain there really right through about Saturday evening before we cool down again on the backside of the system that's rolling in. But looking at it right now, 35 in Buffalo, 32 in Olean. That's already above an average daytime high for this time of year. At the airport will be 31. So we're already beating it, and we're just going to crush that average, especially this weekend. Earlier this morning, we dealt with some of those snow showers across the area. Probably had to brush off your car. That's where that system is now. It's really rolling in towards New England, leaving us with maybe a chance for a little bit of light drizzle. But notice the clouds hadn't broken up. They're actually going to thicken up. Notice a few more of these clouds off to the west. Kind of the beginning of our next system, which if I spin the map a little bit, you can actually see here coming across in towards St. Louis and southern portions of Illinois. It's going to take a little bit to get here. Really late tonight is the time frame. This is only 3 hours worth of satellite and radar, and you get the idea. It's already made some good progress. So it is heading towards western New York, and it'll bring some rainfall with it. But as I mentioned, backing off a little bit on some of the rainfall totals. Talk more about those in a sec. Here's a look at least the RPM model showing you this afternoon. It's more clouds than anything else. A little bit of patchy fog here and there, especially into tomorrow. There's a look at the early morning hours. So the late night, folks, you may find at least a few light showers here and there around the city later tonight. But then into tomorrow morning, you start to see better chances for that rain to spread across a good stretch of western New York. Temperatures after midnight will be warming up. It'll leave us with chances for on and off showers during the daytime on Saturday. This is really the big window for the runoff from the rain as well as some of the melting. Because once you get into the late night hours, Saturday into early Sunday morning, you're actually seeing a chance for a little bit of frozen drizzle, if not at least a few snowflakes. It's going to take a bit for the atmosphere to cool down enough for snow. So that's why I'm thinking more of a sleet freezing drizzle potential there. It's a very short window for that, so shouldn't be very disruptive to your Sunday. Much of the rest of the day coming in fairly quiet. There's a look at those flood watches. I mentioned a good stretch of western New York, Saturday through early Sunday afternoon. And it's more one of those things that if you're near some of these creeks and streams, just want to be attuned to rapidly changing conditions. Don't drive through water if you can't see the curb. You have no idea how deep it is, and it's still going to be too cold to be getting out in icy water. There's a look at the temperatures at 5 p.m. and I'm going to animate these through the overnight hours because when you get to midnight, you'll actually see the temperatures start to climb again. So we're going to bottom out really early tonight. There's 2 a.m. already in the 40s. We're going to push that right up towards the 50-degree mark early tomorrow. It's going to be a pretty nice day. At least going to feel pretty nice out there. But the winter sports enthusiasts who don't want that to happen, it's not going to last too long. Winds are going to be the biggest piece of this. That southerly flow that we have right now is what's going to help boost these temperatures into the weekend. So at least for today, we're good for upper 30s to low 40s. The thaw, though, is full on, and it's going to remain at least for the next, let's say, day or so. Once you get into Saturday night is where that changes. So for tonight, only cooling down a few degrees before, as I mentioned, after midnight, you start to see those temperatures climbing again into early tomorrow morning. There's that window. And there are some of the cooler temperatures that already show up again for Sunday. We'll warm up a little bit into Monday, kind of another little chance of some slightly milder air, but then we cool back down, get into the chances for some rain-snow mix late Tuesday, and then snow on Wednesday, and it'll feel more like winter again.